my channel, and today's video, as you can tell by the title, is a story time of all my illnesses. And if you don't know me, you're probably thinking, what illnesses, what are you talking about? But yeah, I have, well, one, but like things wrong with me, if that makes any sense at all. And the reason why I'm doing this video is not for like sympathy, which I thought that it might come across as that. On my channel I'm very open about things. Many people don't actually know like the ins and outs. I don't know, but some of the comments I hear are very annoying. Yeah, I just wanted to do this video so people understand me more. If you didn't know, hopefully it's a bit interesting. And yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna get straight into the video. Right, this is editing indie. But I have just noticed whilst editing that my nose is so red. I have no idea why it was so red. It is quite off-putting, but I can't do nothing about it. I really don't want to like refilm it. And yeah, so if we could all just ignore that I wanted to look like Rudolph in this video. So I have done a little list so I don't miss anything out. The first thing wrong with me, and is like my main illness, which is CVS, which is cyclic vomiting syndrome. And I'm gonna put two pictures on the screen of what like it is, and as you can tell by the title, it says basically what is on the tin: vomiting. I have had this since I was 8, and I had a virus which caused like it to happen. I don't know how, but it's common in like young children and also like adults as well. But obviously I was a child when I got it. Explain like what it actually is and then my story of it. So this is explanation. So CVS is a brain/gut disorder that has been recognised for over 100 years, but we still know very little about the cause of the problem. So like I just said, you don't actually know what happens, but mine was like a virus, and there is still no recognised treatment. CVS is characterised by recurrent prolonged attacks of severe vomiting, nausea, pain and lethargy with no apparent cause. Vomiting persists at frequent intervals, 5 to 6 times per hour at the peak, for periods ranging from hours to days or even weeks. And one thing which really bugs me, people think that like I will be sick one day and then the next day I'll magically be fine. Like it's not just a you throw up for one day and you're fine. Like it can last for days like it says, or it can last for weeks. Like I've had it where it's lasted for weeks. So that's one key thing I want people to remember. And then the common symptoms are severe and constant unremitting nausea, and this is one thing which I relate to. So it says onset of vomiting is commonly during the night or early morning. And if you know me, I normally actually throw up at early hours of the morning, so like from 5 AM 6 AM, or when I'm getting ready to go to school, sixth form. I don't know why. Obviously if I'm in the car I do get car sick, not all the time, but like long journeys and stuff, so like I will throw up because of that. Most of the time it is in the mornings, which isn't nice, but at least I know that I won't be able to go in. Repeated vomiting, so what I just said. Retching, often violent. Bit TMI, but that was me on Monday. I was struggling bringing up my food. It was horrible. Often paleness of the skin, which if you can't tell, I am very pale without makeup. I am extra pale without makeup. You can tell when I'm really ill because I go discoloured. I'll put a picture on the screen, even though it's quite ugly, of like a few examples of me when I've been really ill, when I turn like a green colour. It's very weird. And also my dark circles are so bad. Even I got them when I was younger from obviously all the staying up late, being sick. It says the joys of having a cyclic vomiting syndrome. So it says vomiting, lethargy, depression, anxiety, nausea, migraine, and then it shows a few tablets which I am on. That's just a bit about cyclic vomiting. It's so rare, like so many hospitals and that don't actually know about it. So many people don't even know it like is a thing, because it is just a rare illness. Like I said, I've had it for 8 years. I didn't get diagnosed until like 4, 5, I don't actually remember when I got diagnosed. 3, I don't know, but just say a few years back I got diagnosed, and basically I had it for 5 years at this point, and my mum was getting sick of, obviously I used to have loads of MRI scans all the time, loads of blood tests. I had a tube down my nose into my throat and then into my stomach. So my mum was obviously sick of like me being like a guinea pig, and then she researched herself, and then she found this specialist for CVS, and she wanted me to go see him to see if he could say an idea of what it is or something. So I went to go see him, and he managed to diagnose me within like 20 minutes of CVS after 5 years. So that was frustrating, and I'm still with him now however long later. Had so many tests, but there's no like actual treatment for it. You just have to get on with it. They say that hopefully through puberty like you grow out of it, but obviously I would hope I've gone through puberty. Maybe when I'm like a young adult, well I am a young adult, but like in my 20s I might grow out of it. I hope so. I've got a cup of tea also. It's frustrating, but it could be worse. That's how I think of it. Like there's poor people out there who have terminal illnesses and stuff, which is obviously awful, so I've got to be grateful in that aspect, but it like obviously affects my day-to-day life, and I don't think people understand that. I don't think people, also it's an invisible illness. Obviously you see I'm vomiting behind closed doors, so like people wouldn't guess. And like the amount of things I've heard like, oh well you don't look ill or whatever, and I'm like, what do you mean? And also like being sick all the time also is very hard with maintaining a good weight. As you can tell, I am very skinny, which is obviously a good thing, but like there's a point where when you get underweight, that's when you've got to be concerned, and it is hard. I do eat when I am being sick because like I am hungry, and I don't mind. Like some people are really grossed out by being sick, but obviously I've been doing it half my life, so I'm used to it, so I don't find it obviously too bad throwing it back up. It affects my everyday life, like affects my attendance at school is really bad. But then when you get grief and back from something you can't help, like I didn't want this, if you know what I mean. So when you get grief back, it's very annoying because there's so many teachers who still don't understand and think that it's like I enjoy it. It's annoying. I still get given grief even to this day, which I'm trying to sort out, but some people will understand it, some people won't. I do have very supportive friends who do know about it, and as it's very like unexpected, like normally like I said I wake up and I will feel sick or whatever. If I have plans that day and I wake up and I feel sick, there are some friends who actually take consideration that it's not like it's my illness and I can't help it whether it comes up or not. So this does affect obviously, like I said, my day-to-day life. So like some of the most frustrating things, and I know people don't mean no harm, but it's so frustrating when you hear things like, why are you not in? Oh, you're making it up. Well, I've never heard of it, so it can't be that bad, or just it can't be that bad. Or about me coming in tomorrow. They are only a handful of things which are frustrating. You can't tell if I'm going to be better tomorrow or if it's going to last a few days, a few weeks, a few months. I don't know, but I can't help it. Like, next thing I have got is scoliosis, which is a curved spine. I haven't actually got a picture to show my spine because I don't take pictures of my back. I physically can't take pictures of my back. If I did, I would show you. I have top and bottom curve, and I was blessed with both, thank you. We noticed mine in 2015 when I was getting the tube down my nose. I got an x-ray done to see if it was in place in my stomach, and my mum was like, her spine, is it meant to look like that? And then they was like, oh yeah, it's a bit weird. And then I got diagnosed with scoliosis, which was a shock because like for so long I was used to just my illness and like all the hospital appointments all the time being on my illness, so I was like, oh okay. And I got scoliosis through a growth spurt. You can be born with it, you can have a growth spurt, like so many ways you can get it. But yeah, I grew too quickly and my spine didn't quite catch up. Something didn't win the race. if you get the joke, you get the joke. I never used to have pain with it until 5 months later, and I started noticing that I do get pain, and I was a bit like, not quite enjoying this. So then I did have to wear a back brace, which I will insert the funniest video of when my sister come round and she found my back brace.
What the fuck is this? One for you.
Because if you saw it, it was literally a massive plastic thing. And obviously when I was in school, I had to do PE, I had to do dance because they were core subjects. So you could only do it up at the back, and it was one of those you had to like pull. So I physically couldn't do it because it come up to just, it used to push my boobs up, the boobs I had, really high up on my back as well. Very annoying having to get like teachers because they weren't strong enough to like, besides one PE teacher, none of them were strong enough to do it tight. Funniest thing, I was in my lesson and this boy come up from behind and just like hit my back as a joke. Don't know why you'd hit someone, but anyways, and he was like, oh my god, like what, why are you like Iron Man or something? That's my back brace. But yeah, that was also difficult to fit around my vomiting because like I said, it made me sit up like this. Like I had the best posture. It was so hard to fit around my vomiting because like I said, I couldn't physically put it on or off. So if I was about to throw up and my mum wasn't there, it was just uncomfortable because it was so tight, like it was hard to breathe. So yeah, them two mixture, not a good combination, wouldn't recommend it. And then in December 2018, December just went, I got injected into my nerve root cells or whatever they're called with steroids so that it would make the pain go away and like numb it, but they lasted 2 to 3 months. So all of the people at the hospital have said we're not going to carry on because it was bad for me to be injected every 3 months. Like if it lasted a year then I'd be probably more happy, but considering I'm so young and even though I've got like the vomiting illness and stuff, I'm healthy, so they don't want to do it. I use like heat pads, TENS machine, rest a lot, but also I do exercise as well, so like dance and stuff. And some people are quite like shocked when I do go to the hospital and talk to them about like my problems because I'm doing everything I can to cope with it. Also, like my illness, my back does affect me every single day. Even when I film videos like this, as I'm sitting up for like a long amount of time, my back kills. Why I've got pain is because basically at the bottom of your back you have 2 discs and mine are touching. There's meant to be like loads of muscle and that in between so they don't touch, but because mine are touching, then that's what's causing one of like the pain. Let me tell you, it hurts like a bitch. Next, I have hypermobility, which is like what I won't really talk about much because 1, I don't really know too much about it, and 2, it's not that like in depth. Basically, hypermobility is where your joints are more flexible than you think, so you can be hypermobile on your fingers. So like for example, my thumb, like it can't touch my arm, but my mum, I asked her to do it and she was like that, she couldn't get it further than like that, whereas obviously I can get it like down there. And I got diagnosed when I was like 2, I think, and as a child I always used to sprain my ankle running about. And sad story, I remember when I was younger and I got a trampoline for like my birthday, or it might have just been as just like a present, but yeah, I got this big trampoline. I was so excited. I got my neighbours to come and like we was all just jumping on it, and then I sprained my ankle, and this was before my illness I think. So I sprained my ankle and my mum's bedroom like looks onto the garden, and I remember looking out the window crying, watching my neighbours on the trampoline whilst I had an ice pack on my ankle because obviously I couldn't jump no more. Scarred me, that has scarred me. My knees lock, which is another thing. The woman said that it might be due to like my hypermobility, so not sure on that one. Also, I have an allergic cell thingy-mabob. As you can tell, I'm not really good with like technical names. It's like allergic cell, no, not even gonna try to attempt it. Yeah, that classes as something, I don't know why, but it does. So I'm allergic to soya, lactose, nuts and fruit, which soya is like not a main one. The main ones are like fruit and nuts. I am not airborne, but for example soya, I can't have soya milk but most obviously chocolate has soya in it, but I can eat chocolate fine. Then I'm also lactose, which that's one thing I never used to be, I don't think. I love milk. A caramel cream from Starbucks. Oh yeah, by the way, my reaction with soya makes my throat close up. But my reaction with lactose, or being lactose, is quite self-explanatory. If you know anybody lactose, you will know that you get the shits. The best way to put it. I can't have caramel creams, anything too creamy, if you know what I mean. So like milkshake from Wimpy is a no-go. And then the last thing is anxiety and panic attacks, and that's what I mostly talk about on my channel because most people can relate with that, whereas like CVS and that, not many people relate with it. But yeah, I have done a whole video on my anxiety and panic attacks, so I don't really want to talk about it in this video. You can just go check that video out. I'll leave it linked in the description. But yeah, long story short, I've had anxiety since year 7 and I'm in year 12 now, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. But I am gonna finish my video off here. Like I said, I can't stress this enough, I am not doing this for sympathy or people to feel sad. I just want people to understand me a bit more, and it's just the one word I can use is frustrating because obviously I've had it for so long and I've dealt with it through primary, and I've had teachers moan at me through primary and friends always asking, why are you not in Indy? Secondary, exactly the same thing. I've had teacher after teacher like wondering, and then I've had all my friends all the time, like people who don't even know me, going, why are you not in? And I'm just like, oh, because I'm sick. But then they just think that when I say I'm being sick, that, you know, when the odd occasion you get you're sick, and they're like, oh, but then they're thinking, I'm like, oh, she's always sick, like she must be making it up. And I'm like, it's because I got an illness. But as soon as I say illness, people get confused. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want me to do more story times about whatever you want, comment down below or whatever. Subscribe if you're new, put the bell on, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.